get over it. It's still fructose and sugar. Originally, you would never, ever, if your life depended on it, have day-old bread. Sacre bleu. They're not a great source of potassium, but doctors were paid to say that. So welcome back to another episode of Gut Instincts. I'm your host, Dr. Stephen Gundry, and today we're covering breakfast foods. Most of us don't have time to put much thought into what we eat first thing in the morning. Before you know it, you're running out the door with something that is sugary or processed only because it was the easiest thing to grab on your way to work. Unfortunately, some of the most popular options people eat for breakfast are harmful to your gut and will be quite the wake-up call. So, I'll be rating these breakfast foods from S to F. S stands for Superfood, and F means it belongs in the trash. Now, before we begin, make sure to tap that subscribe button to catch future episodes that can help guide you on your gut health journey. Let's get into it. All right. Oh, here's a popular one. Toaster pastries are convenient. They taste like dessert, and that should tell you something. These things are one of the best ultra-processed nightmares that any food scientist could ever come up with, and that's why you like them so much. They're full of usually wheat, sugar, and chemicals that I can't even describe. First off, toaster pastries don't belong in the toaster. They belong in the trash. Pancakes, unfortunately, are mostly made from wheat flour, which is full of gluten. Almost all pancakes are lighter than air. That should tell you that the more fluffiness, the more easy it is for your digestive system to break down those carbohydrates into sugars. And then what exactly are you going to do with the pancakes? You're going to pour syrup over it. Now, maple syrup may have a little bit of benefit in terms of polyphenols, but get over it. It's still fructose and sugar. So pancakes, F as well. I'm so sorry. Well, how about its cousin, waffles? These are convenient. These are prepackaged. You throw them in the toaster. Anytime you see the convenience label, every time you say, oh, I can throw these in the toaster and I can run out the door, just think of the damage it's doing to you. Waffles are just a pancake that's more convenient. It goes in the F. Eggs, when done properly, are an excellent nutritional source of both good quality proteins and also really good quality fats. Fun fact, eggs are denigrated because they do contain cholesterol, which they do, and they contain an omega-6 fat called arachidonic acid. Your brain is 70% fat, and half of the fat in your brain is arachidonic acid. And studies have shown, particularly in Japan, that people who have the most arachidonic acid in their brain have the biggest brains and the best memory compared to people who have low arachidonic acid. And studies from the University of Texas supplementing athletes with arachidonic acid to find out if it actually caused inflammation. Lo and behold, it improved their performance and lowered inflammation. So eggs can be a great source of arachidonic acid. But as I've talked about before, try to get omega-3 eggs or pastured eggs. But we're gonna give an egg, as a pretty doggone good breakfast option. Let's go to another favorite breakfast option, oatmeal. Wow, what's better than a warm bowl of oatmeal for breakfast? And that instant oatmeal, I mean, you tear open the package, throw it in hot water, that's gotta be great. Just remember, if you see the word instant, that means that has been ultra processed to, number one, dissolve in water, and number two, it's already been broken down into sugar molecules. Plus, almost all oats in the United States are contaminated with Roundup, glyphosate. The bad news is that oats are a really good way for making you gain weight. In fact, oats were originally fed to animals to get them to gain weight. So sorry, folks, your favorite breakfast cereal, oatmeal, is in the trash. Grits. Now, I went to medical school at Georgia and lived in the South, and grits were definitely a traditional breakfast food. What's interesting about grits, most people don't know that 95% of corn in the United States is genetically modified, and 100% of corn in the United States is sprayed with glyphosate. But grits were originally called hominy grits, and hominy was what you got when you soaked corn kernels in lye or cooked it in lime. The hull came out and you had hominy. If you dried hominy and ground it, it became grits. It turns out that treating corn with lye, the traditional way all corn was used, actually improves it as a healthier food. But all corn in the United States is genetically modified. So as good an idea that grits was long ago, grits are no longer a health food. So sorry, the South, they're down in the bad. Oh, we're running out of things. Oh, I know, one of our favorite foods of all time for breakfast, a bagel. Who doesn't like a bagel? I don't like a bagel. Oh, I love bagels, but I don't like them because they have so much sugar. A regular bagel may have upwards of 12 teaspoons of sugar. Now, you don't taste it because it's actually the fine powder that's been broken down. And white flour, which a bagel is made from, is got a higher glycemic index than table sugar. Bagels, no matter what you do to them, are really one of the best ways to spike your blood sugar in the morning. You'll produce more insulin. The insulin will pull your blood sugar down, and about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, you will crash and you'll be really hungry. So no, bagels are not for breakfast anymore, as much as I like them. Well, toast, that might be good. I'll give you a fun fact. When you toast bread, you actually lower the glycemic index a little bit. I trained in London as part of my children's heart surgery fellowship, and I was fascinated while living in London that toast was served cold on a toast rack. If you've ever tried to spread hard butter on dry, cold toast, I don't recommend it. Why did they do it that way? Well, it turns out if you heat a starch and then cool it, there are more resistant starches in toast. That doesn't change the fact that it's basically pure sugar and carbohydrates. So no, toast is not for breakfast anymore. We're getting a lot of F's. Oh, I know. Hash browns. What could be better than a potato that's cut up? Well, number one, white potatoes are part of the nightshade family, and they're loaded with lectins. Anytime you then take a starch, like a potato, and cut it up into finer and finer pieces, and then throw it in probably the worst oils that you can imagine. So that combination of these finely cut up starches and really bad vegetable oils is once again a disaster waiting to happen. It is not a breakfast food. The ultimate breakfast food, cereal. The Kellogg's Corn Flakes Company tried to convince you in 1906 that breakfast was the most important meal of the day. Kellogg's Corn Flakes was advertised as the world's first pre-digested food. Now, if that sounds a lot like ultra-processed to you, you're correct. So we have been eating one of the ultra-processed foods for over 100 years. Cereal is not for breakfast anymore. It's an F. It's a bowl of sugar, and then you put milk on it, which is also a glass of sugar. Maybe we can make the toast better by soaking it in egg and milk. French toast. Delicious, I realize that. Why did they call it French toast? Because originally you would never, ever, if your life depended on it, have day-old bread. Sacre bleu. To salvage bread, you soaked it in milk and or eggs and then fried it to make it edible. But French toast, what are you going to do with it? Of course, you're going to pour maple syrup or fake maple syrup, and you're going to turn it once again into a sugar toast. And you'll probably sprinkle cinnamon sugar on it as well. Even though there's a little bit of egg in it, it doesn't soften the blow. F. Granola. That's gotta be healthy. I mean, it often says all organic, made with oats, made with all these nice nuts. Buyer beware. If it's made with oats, the oats have glyphosate in them. It is usually loaded with sugar. That's why you like it. And many times, the nuts and seeds in granola are loaded with lectins. You'll see cashews, you'll see sunflower seeds, you'll see pepitas. These are all a lectin bomb. So this is a sugar bomb as well as a lectin bomb. And what are you going to do? You're going to put milk on it, which is sugar. So I'm sorry, granola is not a health food. Now, there are some non-grain-based granolas, and there are several on the market that are pretty safe, but you've got to look at the sugar content. Most even non-grain-based granolas still are a big sugar bomb. That's why we like it so much. F. It got to be something I can eat. A banana, of course, that's one of the great breakfast foods. Not so much. The United Fruit Company discovered in the early 1900s that you could pick bananas green, ship them across country in rail cars, and ripen them with exposure to a gas called ethylene gas. And it was miraculous because it was literally the first fruit that could be shipped cross country. Now, to get Americans interested in a foreign fruit that they never had, they did two things. First of all, they paid doctors to tell people that bananas were a great source of potassium, and we need potassium in our diet. They're not a great source of potassium. Secondly, they partnered with the Kellogg's company and said that a Kellogg's cornflakes bowl with a sliced banana was the perfect meal to start your day. And guess what? They paid doctors to tell you that. No wonder we associate a banana and cornflakes with the perfect all-American breakfast. It's not. F. On the other hand, if you buy bananas green and either eat them green or use green banana flour, it's actually some of the best foods for your gut microbiome. And I buy my bananas green. They should be very difficult to peel. Cut them in half, put them in a glass container in your freezer, and then use them, for instance, to make a smoothie that's good for your gut. Bananas themselves are not the evil empire. It's how we use them that's the problem. Carrot cake muffins. Carrots. That's a root vegetable. That's really good for you. Carrots are really great for your gut microbiome. I want people to eat root vegetables. But as anyone who's had carrot cake or carrot cake muffins know, the major ingredient is not carrots, it's actually wheat flour and lots and lots and lots of sugar. So as much as it sounds like you're making progress from a muffin by adding carrots, I'm sorry, folks. It's just another way to make you think that this is healthier than the actual product is. Doggone it, it's an F2. Everybody knows that yogurt is a great source of probiotics, friendly bacteria, but not so fast. Most yogurts have no living bacteria in them, but that's okay. It turns out that dead bacteria and the products of fermentation that makes yogurt are actually really good messengers. But most of our yogurts in the United States are made from casein A1 cows, black and white cows, the Holstein cow. If it says Greek yogurt, I got news for you. It didn't come from Greece, where they have a different type of cow. Greek yogurt just means they let some of the water drip out of the yogurt, so it has more protein than regular yogurt. So what do? You buy either goat yogurt or sheep yogurt. And please, please, please buy it plain. Do not be fooled by fruit on the top, fruit on the bottom, vanilla bean. All of these yogurts have huge amounts of sugar added, or fake sugar. Why? Because Americans do not like sour tasting foods. It's not part of our culture. We're not exposed to it early in our life, unlike other cultures. If you can find goat yogurt or sheep yogurt, and good news, plain goat yogurt is available at Trader Joe's. Buy it and use it. If you want it sweeter, do two tricks. Put allulose in it. Allulose is a true sugar that feeds gut bacteria and has no calories. And it actually lowers sugar in our bloodstream and helps us lose weight. If you want more flavoring, do my trick of reverse juicing. Everybody's got a juicer at home. Take whatever, let's say you're going to buy a bunch of berries, put it in the juicer, throw the juice away. Take all the leftover pulp, which is basically pure polyphenols, and put it in your plain yogurt. You'll get a double benefit out of that yogurt. An omelet is a way of introducing some really useful foods into you. So for instance, an omelet that's stuffed with mushroom, that's stuffed with avocados, that's stuffed with green vegetables, like asparagus, for instance, is a great way of adding more gut-friendly foods into your breakfast. An omelet with an omega-3 egg, for instance, with additional really good stuff inside, can also really be a superfood. Over in Europe, we see a lot of quiches for breakfast. Quiches can also be really good as long as you bake them without the crust. And oftentimes, in a situation where that's all there is, I'll order the quiche and just eat out the contents and leave the crust behind. So a quiche, depending on its ingredients, can also be pretty good for you. So I'll put it as an A as long as you don't eat the crust. Bacon. Unfortunately, bacon doesn't have a lot of redeeming social value. There are really good ways to make preserved pigs, fermented pigs in sausages that are traditionally fermented, but unfortunately, bacon is not a fermented food. As much as you and probably me enjoy the flavor and crispiness, etc. of bacon, it's not for breakfast anymore either. Down in the F. I know, a breakfast sandwich. Now, that's an easy thing to take out. It's an easy thing to go through the drive-thru and get this sandwich that's got protein, which is usually an egg, a piece of sausage or a piece of ham, and, of course, something to hold it with. English muffin, or worse, I've also seen it with pancakes. Breakfast sandwiches, while convenient, are really bad for you. I've run out of F's. I'm going to hang it on the F right here. And even though some of the components are potentially really good for you, like an egg, most of this is just a delivery device for ultra-processed foods. A protein shake. I mean, what could be better? Everybody is now convinced that we need protein in our diet, that we don't have enough protein in our diet, that protein helps build muscle. Here's the startling news. Don't take it from me. Take it from Professor Christopher Gardner, the head of nutrition at Stanford. Americans eating regular food eat 4 times the amount of protein that they need for health. What's important to realize is our great-great-grandparents ate protein whole, a piece of steak or a piece of fish or a chicken. It takes a very long time and a lot of calories to break an animal protein down into amino acids, which are then absorbed. 35% of the calories in a steak are burned up by the process of digesting and breaking it apart. When you do the digestion for you by making a protein powder, this is instantly absorbed as lots of protein. You don't get the benefit of breaking it down, and here's the worst part. We don't want to waste calories. So most of the protein we eat, about 82%, is converted into sugar. So we convert most of the protein in a protein shake into sugar and then store it as fat. A protein shake is not what you need for breakfast. Now for a quick recap. Let's see what we got. Well, so Greek or sheep plain yogurts, really a lot of benefits. MCTs, probiotics, postbiotics. An omelet stuffed with the right ingredients and made with the right eggs, pretty doggone good way of getting good stuff in you. An egg, as long as it's an omega-3 egg or a pastured egg that you know what the chicken was eating, excellent source of protein and some important fats. Quiche, if you throw away the crust or make a crustless quiche, it's another easy way to get really good vegetables, mushrooms into your diet. All of the rest of our favorite breakfast foods are convenient breakfast foods, like a protein shake or a toaster tart that you put in the toaster. These are just really bad stuff. And that is my gut instinct. If you enjoyed this episode of Gut Instincts, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. I'm curious, after watching this, what are you eating for breakfast tomorrow? Remember, eat smart, feel great. I'm Dr. Gundry, and I'll catch you in the next episode.